If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything that you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on any listening platform like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. It's everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. From Battlefield Studio Alpha, welcome to the Wartime Leadership Podcast, where we explore what spiritual resiliency looks like from different perspectives. We often focus on the physical, emotional, and social areas of resiliency, but too often we neglect the spiritual pillar. Now, this looks different for everyone. We will be exploring what spiritual resilience looks like in the lives of our guests, who are people from all different walks of life. I'm your host, Nathan Coy, and today's episode is sponsored by Success Draft, where we help you transform your dreams into drafted plans. Head over to successdraft.com to get started on your future today. And speaking of today we welcome Chancellor Jackson, author of 14 Days in Beijing, and You Love and You Learn, and the third book, Real Love Never Dies. Chancellor, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, blessings and balance to you, Nathan. Blessings and balance to everyone that's tuning in right now. I really can't complain, family. How you living?
Man, let me tell you, when we first came out, you said, "Hey, fam," and I was like, "Oh man, this takes me back," because I have one individual that I have served with my entire military career. And he always says, "Hey, fam, how you doing, brother?" And I'm like, oh. So when you said that meant a lot to me because it took me back a little bit. So
a little nostalgia.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've had a good conversation going on so far, talking football, talking Georgia, Florida football, getting a little deep there. So we had to pull back the reins and to jump into this. And also the fact that you have written love stories.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, folks. He doesn't look like the typical love artist, author, but man, let me tell you, there's great reviews out there for what we see. So, but before we get going too much, Chancellor, we're going to do random questions, and I got a random question generator. Now, this, I will tell you, it has gotten me in trouble in the past. Because I ask them. And maybe I should look at the question before I actually ask them. Because I think the last one was, if you could murder anyone, and the person just started quoting it. And I was like, no. If you could, would you? And he was like, oh, can you edit out what? No, I absolutely cannot. So the first one is a good one. What's your favorite way to spend a weekend?
I hang out with friends, family, any loved ones, you know what I'm saying? Good spirits, good vibes. We got drinks going around, food, and we just gonna go out and just be festive and just be us. We just gonna enjoy each other's company, and we're going to showcase it to the entire world. Who we are as a unit.
I was about to say, there has to be food in there somewhere. Like, we're in the South, brother.
Yeah.
There has to be food. Come on.
Yeah, especially when we drinking, gotta have something to eat, man.
Oh, gotta get something in the belly just to keep a hold of. Okay. What fact about you surprises people the most?
I got locked up.
How you got locked up?
I got locked up abroad in China. That alone. That's it. As soon as I say that, I have that individual's full undivided attention. And it's just like, it's crazy every time I say it.
So why is that? Is it just because of your personality?
When you don't meet that, it's not every day you meet somebody that got locked up abroad in a different country. And then we talking China on top of that, out of all places.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, bro. It's like Brittany Griner coming like, yeah, if I got locked up in Russia, folks gonna be like, whoa, Russia, what? You're gonna be looking crazy. Like, what? You can't just say that normally. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? That's happening every day. No.
Like it's random conversation. Well, I was locked up abroad, China.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, take it back.
Like, they concerned, like, hey, like you good? Like, I'm good.
Hey, and don't worry, folks. We're going to get into that. Trust me. This is the one area where I'm like, be ready, brother, because we're gonna go deep on this. All right. What is your favorite childhood memory?
Playing football outside at the park with the homies. Or really just, playing West, we play football almost every day. It was crazy. We played football almost every day. Even if it was like 3-4 of us, we doing something with the football. Like, yeah, so man, we got a lot of great games out there on that field too. A lot of great games.
So what was your favorite position to play as a young child versus what you actually played in college?
Receiver or quarterback.
Okay. Yeah. So that was your favorite as a kid, was quarterback?
Or really primarily receiver, but then once I you know what I'm saying, I got my throwing mechanics down, then I was diming. Yeah, I could dime something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so definitely playing quarterback. And now quarterback, you really controlling everything. You touch the ball every single play. You know what I'm saying?
I would say you're the general of the field at that point.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's different when it's like actually in organized football. Live bullets are flying up underneath them lights. Okay, no. That's a different type of time. But we just out here in the backyard playing. Oh yeah, for sure. I get right. I'll get right.
All right. Hey, you know what? Easy warm up. Those were easy questions, not too hard. Here's the one that kind of stumps some people. What is one thing you find repulsive? See, I see the look of concern.
People just being ugly. And by being ugly, I mean like you are saying something or doing something that is either harmful to this individual or it's going to have a negative, you know what I'm saying, reaction. You know what I'm saying, what you're doing. So you're just being ugly. That's ugly. You know what I'm saying? It's not positive at all. So yeah.
In resiliency, we talk a lot about psychological safety, and psychological safety encompasses this big idea of creating an environment where people feel comfortable enough to share their thoughts and stuff. And when you start to do that ugliness and to drown it in your inabilities, that's yeah. Oh yeah. I could go a long time into that. So we don't have enough time for that because we're here for you, Chancellor. We're here for you. So thank you for that intro. Really excited for this conversation to see where it's going to go. But before we get going too far, why don't you give us your background? Kind of walk us from where you've been to where you are right now.
For sure. So Chancellor K. Jackson is the name, from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. Pretty man, down to earth, humble dude, you know what I'm saying? Hardworking, disciplined, resilient, natural born leader, independent as well as dependable, selfless, considerate, a breath of fresh air, nurturing, kind-hearted, wise, very wise, a sage, essentially, but and a God amongst men, to say the least. But yeah, man, I played football vast majority of my life. Got to play all throughout high school, and then got the opportunity to play at the collegiate level down at Stetson University, where I obtained my bachelor's degree in communication and media studies. After I graduated, I landed my first job teaching English to children in China. And so that's how I ended up in Beijing. So answer that question, I'm sure that popped in a lot of y'all's head, like, what was you even doing out there? But yeah, that's how I ended up in China. But just to stop right there, but to fill in more blanks, as far as just me, my background. Very smart cat, always on honor roll, throughout my whole academic career, even in college. Was definitely a leader amongst my tribe and my peers as well. Football definitely fine-tuned and shaped me to be the individual that I am today, as well as my, environment. Um, it was raised in a single parent household for the most part. Yeah, single parent household, and with a sibling, a younger sibling. And we both played ball. Yeah, man, that's pretty much the childhood. I had a good childhood overall. You know what I'm saying?
So what were some of those moments that kind of defined who you were and why you had such drive for the honor roll, for the football field, for being a commander amongst those people?
Like I said, man, just natural born leader. Like I can't even really. It's in me. It ain't on me. You know what I'm saying? Cause I was bad. I was bad as hell up until like third grade, and then I was watching TV one day, Nickelodeon. It's a show that used to come on Nickelodeon back in the day. It was called Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, and pretty much a show giving kids the blueprint on how to just, manage school. And it's like, bro, you ain't got to be the smartest, bro. You ain't got, you know what I'm saying? All it takes is you just being a little structured and organized and a little discipline, man, you can breeze through this thing. So after watching the show, it wasn't like school was hard for me to begin. I was always smart. So it was like, I was probably just bad just because it was boring, you know what I'm saying? But it really wasn't until I watched that show, and I was just honed in on the behavioral piece, because that's the only thing that was really affecting me. But yeah, so really just changed my behavior that next year. I watched that show in third grade, so that fourth grade year, it was a complete, 180 for me. And then fifth grade, I was fifth grade class president. And then I just carried all that momentum on into middle school. And then once I started playing football, I didn't start playing football until eighth grade. So as soon as I started playing football, I was like, yeah, I want to play at the collegiate level. I want to play in college. And I know I can't have no messed up grades, you know what I'm saying, and do that. So yeah, it just carried over.
Yeah, we actually see that a lot with kids nowadays, where if they have like math or English or social studies that are super easy for them, they get bored and start to try to test those waters a little bit. Sometimes we see that with our son all the time. All the time. And his mind is so quick and so fast that he gets bored with it, and so he starts lashing out in different ways to kind of see how he can start to use his psyche to screw around with some people.
Oh, me.
Hey, but you talked about a little bit differently about being on the football field and being a general and whatnot. So can you kind of take us down the road of what your leadership style or philosophy looks like, how it's developed over the years from the football field to what you were doing that took you to China?
Yeah. So at first, the first year, I was playing catch up. Like I said, this eighth grade, I'm 13 years old. Everybody else been playing since they was 4 and 5. So the developmental piece, physically and mentally, that comes with this sport. Oh yeah, I had a whole lot of catching up to do. So it really wasn't a whole lot of, leading for me, because I'm like, I don't even know what to do my damn self. So it's, first year was a slow, and then freshman year of high school, I started at free safety on the freshman football team. But now, okay, I done caught up to speed, but it's still like, far as in-game experience, now I got to catch up on that. You know what I'm saying? The speed of the game. So, of course, you know what I'm saying? It was just development. It was just developing all the way up into my junior year. And now I'm like, okay, I feel, because I've been working hard in the weight room and all, you know what I'm saying, in the off season. So I'm like, I feel like I'm capable, I'm ready to play at the varsity level. And my coaches didn't see that fit. And the person they started over me wasn't better than me either. So I didn't take that well. And I really had a choice at that point. It was like, okay, you can continue to complain and moan and bitch about it or quit, or you can, all right, prove these folks wrong. Stick your nose to the ground and just grind and show these folks. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to show these folks. I'm just showing them. You know what I'm saying? I really am. I ain't even finna do too much talking about. We just finna work, bro, for real. Cause I want to play college football. So like, I have to figure out how to deal with this, overcome this adversity. I can't just up and transfer. Nah, I can't do that. So I got to figure this thing out. So like I said, I just started grinding. I'm putting it, just going hard in everything, the drills, everything. And then it translated, just stacking good on good. It translated to the games, the JV games. Now I'm back on JV for the second year. So now, like, I've got that development. Oh, now the speed of this game is slow. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going crazy. 2-3 picks a game, going crazy. And that's when the vocal piece, as far as leadership, started to come out. Because now it's like, here I am. I'm a junior. There's a couple of us juniors on the JV team, but hey, bro, I'm making plays now. You know what I'm saying? I'm making plays, bro. And it's like, all right, I see the formula, what it takes. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm finna show y'all the way and just listen to what I gotta say. And then with me, my progress, my success on JV, you know what I'm saying? They moved me up to varsity, and my first varsity game I started in, at least I got to play. As soon as they put me out there, I pick off the number 2 quarterback in the nation at the time. So it was like, after that, oh yeah, sign, seal, stamp, he approved. You know what I'm saying? He solidified. You know what I'm saying? So after that, oh yeah, now it's just like, cause bro, I started from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to work my way up to the top. And so yeah, I got a little bit swagger to me now. At least, you know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't say it's just confidence and trusting the process and just staying down.
I think anytime you hit that field, you have to have a certain attitude about yourself, because if you go into it and you have a demeaning attitude, people are going to see that and they're just going to hit you. And now they're going to take you out. And then where do you go from there?
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just, you know, just always wanted to do right. Always. I was always like that. You know what I'm saying? A stickler. They used to call me lame. Like, man, Chance, but this man. I can, you know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want to do. I can sit there and we can coexist in the same space. You live your best life. I'm going to stay 10 toes on what I'm stand on my principles, because my goal is to play college football. Anything that is going to mess that up, I'm not even going for it. I was just so, man, I was I was crazy about playing Division I football, but I was able to actually do it.
Now, when you went to college, when you went there and you're playing on the field, but then you're a student athlete. So what were you studying when you were in college?
Communication and media studies. So pretty much we're studying communication and its broad, and the broad forms of it. You know what I'm saying? Communication is verbal, nonverbal, writing, still images, motion pictures. That motion picture can have sound. They can be completely silent. They can both communicate to 3 different things just because of that. You know what I'm saying? So, or look at this news outlet and let's see the message they're putting out from this article as an example. Okay, what are they trying to convey out of this message? You know what I'm saying? How can this message be interpreted to the masses? And you know what I'm saying? Just studying communication. And yeah. So
how did you translate learning and getting the nonverbal and the verbal communication skills to what you were doing on the field?
Man, it's crazy. Like, college was a blur when it comes as far as to academics. Like, I can remember select few classes, and those classes I do remember weren't a part of my degree. You know what I'm saying? They were just electives. So it's like, man, I couldn't even, at that point in time, but up until it was time for me to do my senior research project, I couldn't even tell you what I was studying. For real. Like, I was just in class. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just pretty much going through the motions. Once I found the formula, how to go through the motions, and I'm still making A's and B's, you know, I'm still making decent grades. So it's like I was really just going through the motions at that point. So it's like I couldn't even tell you what I was really learn it. It wasn't until I had to do my senior research project, and I still ain't even do that. I had my girlfriend at the time write the whole thing for me. I just gave her all the information she needed. But me having to deliver it and present it, that's when I was able to, one, understand what the whole essay was essentially. And then I was like, okay, I understand what this communication thing is. You know what I'm saying? I understand it just from, I've been sitting in class all this time, couldn't even tell you. Now, you know what I'm
We
saying?
do not condone ghostwriting on this podcast by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hey, so then let's fast forward. What took you to China? What took you to Beijing? What was it that you were doing at the time that kind of helped you make that transition over?
So football comes to an end for me November 2017, last game of my senior year. So I ain't trying to go. I ain't trying to do the NFL now. I'm good. D1 football is good enough for me. So I'm like, well, since I've embodied and identified as a student athlete and football player for good 8-9 years up until this point. All right. Now this is no longer the case. Chance, who are you? What's next? What do you enjoy doing? What do you want out of life? What do you aspire to be? Who do you aspire to be? What's your purpose? I couldn't answer any of these questions. So I knew I needed to start somewhere.
How did you go through that discovery process?
I was like, I don't know what I want to do next. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know anything. I just know the skill sets that I possess. Leadership, discipline, fast learner, you know what I'm saying? I got some great skills. Now, I just know you give me a task, you show me the ropes, I'll take it and run with it. So really, I don't know what's next in store for me. I got to find something. I got to start somewhere. So I just started applying for jobs all across the nation, mainly corporate positions, sales, marketing, management, or I, you know what I'm saying, ventured off into different jobs or, you know what I'm saying, anything for real, because I'm like, I have no clue what it is I want to do. So I'm open and willing to anything that's, you know what I'm saying, open and willing to me. So I just, like I said, I just started applying for jobs. I'm landing interviews, big time interviews, getting flown out, whole nine, put up in hotels, you know what I'm saying, the whole extravaganza. And I just could not seem to land a position. I did this process about 8 months. I done graduated, I'm back home, still ain't found nothing. So now I'm like, damn, bro, I done did everything, the quote unquote textbook way on how to do this life thing. I done went to school, you know what I'm saying, got this piece of paper, and now I'm sitting here with my ass out, still like trying to figure out what's next. So, but I was like, it was like football all over again. Like, okay, damn, they ain't trying to start me on varsity. Damn, bro, I could say, forget this, or hey, you know what I'm saying, keep going. I'm like, well, I could say, you know what I'm saying, forget it. Ain't no telling. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, nah, something gonna hit. You just gotta keep going. It's happened before. You know what I'm saying? Just keep going. And just switched my job searching up. And that's when I came across the opportunity to teach English abroad in China. I found that on LinkedIn. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So, okay. Yeah, exactly. So I was just, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, and I'm like, teach English in China, boy, that sounds lit. Boy, that sounds like a great first job.
Now, wait, do you speak Mandarin at all?
EDN, just a little bit. I knew just enough just to work my one, move and groove. You know what I'm saying? As far as having a full in-depth conversation, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. You know what I'm saying? Very, very basic language, basic language. But yeah. So that's how, you know what I'm saying, I applied, and this was the first job to tell me yes. After 8 months of being interviewing, getting told no, first job to tell me yes on the side of the world. It wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So did they send you to a high school, a private school?
So I was working for a company that specializes in teaching languages, and English is, of course, is prominent secondary language in China. So It's really, you can, there's so many different English companies out there. You can, man, Disney got one. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of them out there. Yeah, I was, it was a tutoring company essentially. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've actually had a friend that was in Wuhan.
Yeah.
It's funny because Wuhan's were, anyways. He was in Wuhan when all of this started, and he was actually teaching English there at a private school. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear different individuals talk about it. Now, my dad speaks Mandarin, which is
Okay.
is funny. So that's why I knew the people's language, if you will. So how long were you there for?
6 months. 6 months. I was supposed to do a year, but my contract was set for a year, but I only did 6 months because, of course, you know what I'm saying, got bammed up there.
Oh, that's what we want to know.
On me. On me. So yeah. So I entered China October 10th, 2018, and on April 4th, 2019, I was arrested at my, you know what I'm saying, inside of my apartment for possession of cannabis. I honestly really don't know what the charge was because none of that was communicated to me. I just know I got caught with some weed and they folk locking me up. So yeah, I'm locked up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 men to one cell, 9 wooden beds, 3 soups a day. All I had literally was one Tupperware bowl and one plastic spoon for 14 days. Nobody knew I was there. Nothing was explained to me as far as how the process works, how this jail operates. Of course, it's a language barrier, so that's another factor. Shit, it really wasn't looking too good for me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here to tell y'all I did 14 days. You see that as you read it. You know what I'm saying? Every day you just waking up hoping to hear some information, going to bed disappointed. Until when somebody finally just call your name.
So how did they end up hearing about you being in there? Like, was it the U.S. Embassy that came through for you, or?
Well, I ain't even talked to the embassy till 10 days in, so that was yeah. But I was able to make contact with the outside world on day 7, so I definitely was in there for a whole week before I was even able to make contact with anybody.
Wow! And you're in a room with a bunch of complete strangers, not able to really communicate as much as you would want to in those types of environments.
Can't really first 3 days I couldn't communicate with anybody in that cell. You know what I'm saying? I'm in there with 14 other Chinese men. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but it's not happening. It's quiet. It's a lot of reflecting though.
So then what was going through your head during that time period?
Just mainly accountability. Accountability, you know what I'm saying? I had nobody to blame or to point the finger at but myself for me being in this situation. So just really just like, yeah, damn, boy, this is not looking good. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, we fell on our face hard. We fell on our face hard, but it's like, man, it be like that sometimes. It be like that, you know what I'm saying? Feel this pain for sure. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to feel it. You're supposed to be going through it, you know what I'm saying? So just, you know, and then just replan the whole scenario over and, you know what I'm saying, everything that took place at the department and just the whole journey in China up until that point, you know what I'm saying? Replaying all of that, you know what I'm saying? Just all of that. And then of course, wondering what's gonna happen next. Yeah. Like, yeah, what's gonna happen next? You know?
So what was the justice system like? Like, were you found guilty of your crime?
I don't know. More than likely. I mean, I'm in this cell. So, like, they arrested me, went to one precinct there briefly, went to another precinct. I do my official interrogation, which is dramatic because they take me to the basement of the precinct to do it, and they lock me in this all metal chair that looks like an electric chair. So after that, of course, mugshot, handprint, all of that, and then hours later from that precinct to the actual jail, and like I said, you lock up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? You don't leave that cell. You don't leave it. Yeah, you don't leave it. You in there. Just sitting.
Yeah, but now we see WNBA players, you know, getting hung up in Russia,
right,
for very similar things, but yet it's completely, you know, obviously a lot longer than 14 days.
Man, Yeah. But the difference is she know what's going on. From the second, literally, as soon as they threw the handcuffs on me, they was talking to me before, communicate with me, trying to figure out what, where you get the weed from, all that. They had a lot to say then. Anytime they were questioning me about the weed, had a lot to say. Aside from that, it was no communication whatsoever. So I'm like, bro, I'm just in this cell, bro. I done signed a bunch of stuff I could not read, then fingerprinted it now. I'm like, bro, I don't know what's going on.
Wow. And absolutely at no point were they like, hey, just so you know, here's what this says. See that?
I used to sign.
So how did you maintain resilient through, 14 days, when you think about it, isn't that long of a time period, except when you don't know that that's the only amount of time it's going to be.
Yeah.
So how did you remain resilient during that entire time?
Man, I'd have been down before. You know what I'm saying? I'd have been down before. I ain't been down this low for sure. So I'm like, this is all-time low. And there's nowhere to go but up from here. So, and I knew, like, when I was in the first precinct, I'm still hot. I'm just like, bro, this is really happening, bro. Like, you really, you know what I'm saying? You finna get processed. Ain't no telling what's finna happen, how this thing finna play out. But I know I'm gonna be good when it's all said and done. I just knew it deep down in my spirit I was gonna be good. I know I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be straight. I just don't know how this thing finna play out now. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what I'm gonna have to go through, but I know I'm gonna be good when I get to the end of this tunnel. So I was like, take note of every minor detail, because there's gonna be a great story to tell once you're out of this predicament. And most importantly, enjoy this high one last time. We don't know what's gonna happen to us, boy. And with me not receiving any information as far as how the process works and all of that, my God, I pray to my ancestors. And ironically, I prayed to them that morning, you know what I'm saying, before everything had popped off and me getting arrested. So that's why I knew I was gonna be good. I was like, bro, I just prayed to the ancestors today. I'm gonna be good. They, you know what I'm saying, they here with me. And they sent me multiple signs and messages, let me know how the process was gonna work, and how long I was gonna be there, and how my release was gonna play out as well. The first sign was live in action. And that's what took place at the second precinct, and the rest of them occur in my dreams. But at that point in time, I didn't know, you know what I'm saying, that these were the messages and signs. I didn't know that. It wasn't until I wrote the book and now I'm editing it and now I'm pinpoint. I'm like, dang. Okay, boy, I was in tune. Boy, I was really tapped in when I was in there. But yeah, so just, you know, faith within, you know what I'm saying, knowing the ancestors got me, and just knowing I, you know what I'm saying, hey, it can't get no worse than this. You know what I'm saying? I'm better off dead and just being locked up in here. So it's like, I feel like this is worse than death. So it can't get no worse than this. Only place to go just up.
That unknown, just bobbling around in your head, not knowing when you're actually going to go, finally talking to somebody after 7 days, and then talking to the embassy after 10 days. How in the world do you define spiritual resilience in all of that? We've kind of bounced around it a little bit. So how do you define spiritual resilience?
Man, it's just knowing who you are. You got to know who you are truly. And once you know who you are, everything else will start to make sense as far as what you should believe in and how you should go about certain situations and handling certain situations. So knowing thyself, one, and then once you know thyself, you'll be able to tap in to your spiritual side. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a journey, you know what I'm saying, until you actually find something that works for you, and, you know what I'm saying, get that development. But if, you know what I'm saying, if you just starting off, yeah, man, just learn yourself for sure. And then, you know what I'm saying, just learning yourself, you'll build morals, you'll build codes, you'll build, you know what I'm saying, rules, laws, all of that. And shit, you're going to stand on it, because that's what you and set for yourself, not what some book done told you to follow, or what your mama, grandmama done told you, because they grandmama, you know what I'm saying, because this oppressor done beat this into your head, and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, think for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
So how do you build it in yourself? How do you build that spiritual resiliency up? Like, what do you do each and every day?
Question everything.
Okay.
You got to unlearn and relearn. Everything you have once learned up until this point in your life, you got to question all of that and seek different information. Hear other perspectives. and then compare and contrast. And now use your eyes. What do you see? Stop listening, you know what I'm saying, what a lot of these folk got to say, because a lot of these folk not talking about it, man. It's all a part of the matrix, man, the illusion.
I like that. You have to unlearn to relearn.
On me.
That's a good deal, man.
On me, you got to question everything that you have learned up until this point in your life, because a lot of this shit is a lie, a facade. So it's like, hey, boy, we've been like my daddy used to say, man, we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, led astray, and outright deceived.
It's funny how our voice changes whenever we act like our dads. When I yell at my son, that's exactly what happens. Like I go into this, I'm like, oh no, that is not me. No, you have to unlearn to relearn. And that's a really good deal, because I think there is a issue a lot of the time with what we do teach ourselves, and that pain and that agony that we go through. So we have to unlearn what that looks like in our lives so that we can continue to develop better resiliency skills.
And question, as you're unlearning, question it. Why was I going about this before? Why was I doing that? Versus what you're going to develop for yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole completely different type of time. You're doing it, but you didn't develop for yourself. You're doing it because you set that up. Not because it's just been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And yet, you steady complaining, damn, bro, times is changing, but it ain't changing. We ain't got it as we get into all of that. Okay, for sure. Y'all continue to do the same shit.
Oh, couldn't find the unmute button there real quick. I put it on half the screen because I was going to go over here and I wanted to kind of hit on a couple of things. So you authored a book about your time in Beijing, 14 days in Beijing.
Yeah.
Kind of, I know that we've kind of woven in and out what that looked like, woven in and out what that experience was, but how was the book structured as far as that goes?
Pretty much I started it from the very first day, like, so April 4th, day one. You know what I'm saying? I'm waking up, you know what I'm saying? Stretching, brush my teeth, woo, pray to the ancestors, go to the gym. On my way back from the gym, stop by the market, grab some lunch. You know what I'm saying? I'm back at the apartment, showered, eat. You know what I'm saying? Cook, pray to the ancestors. Now I'm finna get ready to pregame and head to this event. All right. As I get done pre-gaming, I'm getting dressed, here knock at the door. Oh, curious to see who it is. 3 officers from Beijing police. And then now we from there, and then all telling them I'm just telling the story from start to finish. So each day is a chapter. 14 days, 14 chapters.
Wow. Okay. That's good. And so you just talk about what you went through, what you experienced each and every single day, what it looked like from your perspective, looking around this cell with 14 other individuals that you got no idea.
Oh, man.
So then I don't know how to ask this. What made you write love stories? Because you have two. You love and you learn. Mm-hmm. And then the second one is real love never dies.
Yeah.
So what brought that about? Where did that journey come from?
It was a couple different, I had like 3 major influences. The first influence was the same person that encouraged me to write 14 Days in Beijing. When 14 Days in Beijing was going crazy, he was like, "But you need to go ahead and write the romance, motherfucker." I'm like, "Man, I ain't even trying to do it, bro. I'm not in the headspace to do it." And then hearing feedback from a lot of the female readers that read 14 Days. It was funny because a lot of them, they was like, "All right, you talk about this girlfriend all throughout the book, but you don't actually get to talk to her." And then once you get out, that's the end of the book. So what happened with her? How did that play out? When you got back to America, you know what I'm saying? We want to know that tea. So that was another influence. But the one that really, you know what I'm saying, sold me is when I came across the statistics of the best-selling genres and I saw romance at the top. There was no ifs, ands, buts about it after that. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, bet. Bet. I got one for you.
So what are the two about? You love and you learn. What is that one about?
So pretty much, it's all a trilogy right now.
Okay.
The Living Lucky series. So it's pretty much the prequel to 14 Days. Prequel. Like it's pretty much the story of me meeting my girlfriend. And, you know what I'm saying, in college, and how our relationship started and what took place over the first year of the relationship. And then Real Love Never Dies picks up, picks up, pretty much touches base connects my senior year to going to China, being in China, getting locked up, and now I'm back home and what took place after being locked up in China. So Real Love Never Dies brings everything full circle. So, but all in all, the romance saga is a man's first step towards gaining emotional intelligence. All in all.
I like that. We've dealt a lot in my family with what that looks like, with our son who we adopted. So we got him later in life, in his life, and in our marriage. And so that emotional intelligence piece has really played an important part. So that was one thing when I was reading your bio and stuff that really stuck to me, was that idea of looking into emotional intelligence from that perspective. So I was really interested in how that was going to tie into the books, but it's really good to learn that that's a trilogy.
Yeah.
Right. To learn, that prequel and then the event and then what it looks like afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'll be really, really interested to see how that emotional intelligence plays into that, because that's a vital thing. I think that all of us lack.
Yeah.
Especially really good skill. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what's that journey look like for you?
Pretty much like beforehand, man. Love wasn't something I witnessed growing up in my household. Like I said, single parent household. Plain Jane, simple as that. But beyond that, even family, my mother's side of the family, it's her and her siblings is 6 of them in total. She's the 5th child. Out of all 6 of them, only one of them is married. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
They all got kids. You know what I'm saying? So they let you know what type of time these folks is on. But ironically, they had their mama and their daddy both in the household. Now, what did that relationship look like? I don't seem like the healthiest for just based on the results I'm seeing. So, and then same with Pops, you know what I'm saying? He had both parents in the household. What was their relationship like? I don't know, because my daddy a Rolling Stone. So I don't know who my granddaddy was. You know what I'm saying? So for real. So that's just something that never existed in my family. Love wasn't never anything that was verbalized a lot growing up. You know what I'm saying? My even starts with, you know what I'm saying, the foundation. My grandmama never told my mama, I love you before ever. And to this day, she's never told her that. So it's, you know what I'm saying? We ain't even started expressing that to one another, you know what I'm saying, as to, you know what I'm saying, later into like my, you know what I'm saying, teenage years and stuff like that. So I have no knowledge at all. You know what I'm saying? And then I really ain't get that much attention from females at first until once I started playing football and started getting a little swole, started growing my hair out, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm drawing attention left and right now. But it's like, I don't even know what I'm doing for real. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that was a developmental stage as well. So, so I was single pretty much. I've been single my whole entire life, for real. And then that was my very first real relationship, serious relationship. And I learned a lot about love. So it's like, that's why I titled the book, You Love What You Learn. You know what I'm saying?
So what have you done to change the cycle in your life in how you express love and do other things like that?
I verbalize it. You know what I'm saying? Really, how I try. We don't really do too much talking. We ain't got to sit there and, you know what I'm saying, say it constantly, because our actions gonna show it. You gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't gotta sit there. What's understood ain't gotta be explained. We ain't gotta do all that. You know what I'm saying? All that sad stuff. We ain't gotta do all that. But just that that quality assurance, affirmation piece, you know what I'm saying, from the verbal, you know what I'm saying, that's where that comes into play. And a lot of people be needing to hear that. For real. You know what I'm saying? You know the love is there through the action, but like just hearing it is different too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and like with our son, we say, listen, you say it all the time, but your actions don't always match the words that you're saying. And so we've learned that with him, you know, and in becoming more emotionally intelligent about him and how he reacts to stuff. You know, my wife knows. So I'm a former drill instructor, right? So like when I got to turn it on, boy's gonna get it, right?
Oh, me.
But my wife knows that we can't both be in that mood with him all the time. Like one of us has to pull way back, and usually it's me that has to pull back because she knows how far is too far. So she will actually work with me to, you know, she'll like give me the look. You know, like from behind him, she'll just give me that look where she tilts her head and just looks at me dead in the eyes. And I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to pull back. And then I will pull back and be like, now, the way that I was talking to you, is that an expression of love? Or is that an expression of something different? And he'll be able to work us through it. So we're helping him in that same way. So the emotional intelligence is a vital piece, especially for those of us who don't know necessarily how to show it differently to people.
On me. So yeah, man, and then real love never dies is just pretty much a gratitude to love. You know what I'm saying? You gonna love gonna have its good, it's gonna have its bad. But if the love is real, you know what I'm saying, then it'll never die. One, it'll never die. And then two, real love is just something that we all need. We all need, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Man.
I've had to learn the different ways of how to express it to my wife. Her love language is nowhere near my love language.
Mine, I'm already knowing, but
well, I'm looking forward to reading them. I've actually got one of them in my queue, and I'm going to be bringing it. I'm going to be buying it to have it shipped to me here shortly. Hey. Now, after talking to you about the other two, now I have to read them in order of how they happened.
Oh, me.
But we will have a link to all three of them in the description below. So be sure that you check them out. Support. Now, Chance, here's the one thing I don't like to do. And I know it hurts you to do this as an author. I need you to recommend a book or two or three for our listeners. Something that's helped you out, something that's helped you navigate whatever it was that you were going through.
Book title, Accountability by DeMarko Reddins. And another book by him, The Journey Project, Volume 2, Dreams.
That was the what project?
The Journey Project.
The Journey Project.
Volume 2.
Okay. What was it about those books that spoke to you?
Well, this is the same individual that inspired me to write 14 Days. Accountability, he published that before we graduated high school. So we was seniors in high school and he published that. And pretty much accountability is just teaching accountability, holding yourself accountable, just discussing accountability, essentially. And all the different variations of that you know what I'm saying, it entails. And then the Journey Project, Volume 2, Dreams, is pretty much like a workbook. It's a self-help book. It's a workbook to pretty much help you start to map out your purpose, find yourself, learn yourself, posing a bunch of different questions, and then helping you, you know what I'm saying, map out, you know what I'm saying, find your purpose, and then now helping you develop a blueprint to start working towards it.
Man, that's really cool. The fact that he wrote that first one before he even graduated high school.
Yeah.
Some people just have knowledge, you know, and experience, and knowledge mixed with experience, even more powerful. Wow. Well, hey, Chancellor, we are super excited that you were able to join us. And actually, hey, folks, y'all don't know this, but I had actually forgot to send the link to Chance, and then he reached back after I found out that I had done that, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm still on. If you want to do this tonight, if you want to record." So it's actually late, but we're grateful, Chance, very much for you. Do you have any final words that you would like to leave us with?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll leave y'all with a quote by Nipsey Hussle. For y'all that don't know who Nipsey Hussle is, he was a rapper from South Central Los Angeles. But more than just a rapper, he was a serial entrepreneur. Music and clothes were his bread and butter of what he, really was able to build a name for, what built his name. But all in all, you know Nip, Nip was Hustle is his last name. So yeah, he had a lot of different endeavors. But quote goes, long-winded, running through this life like it was mine. Never settling, but setting every goal high. 1,000 burpees on the path to my own self-destruction or success. But what's a mistake without the lesson? You see, the best teacher in life is your own experience. And none of us know who we are until we fail. They say every person is defined by their reaction to any given situation. So who would you want to define you? Someone else or yourself? Whatever you choose to do, homie, give your heart to it and stay strong.
Wow. Man. That shoots. Wow. Okay. Well, that is a heck of a way to be able to end. I wish more people would end my podcast show with quotes like that, because that's some power right there.
Oh, man. So. R.P. Nipsey Hussle the Great, man.
Hey, today's episode is only possible thanks to my friend and producer, G. Frazier with 369sounddesign.com. He may not be as philosophical as Nipsey, but he is as good with making me sound good each and every single week. He is truly the one with the hardest job between the two of us, but we are blessed by the entire team here at the Wartime Leadership Podcast. See you next time.